Okay, we love our mala, we love our Chinese food, and so does a lot of people in Singapore, which often includes non-Chinese. So recently, an Indian Muslim Redditor who loves halal Chinese food expressed his discomfort with the growing trend of Chinese-run eateries offering menus almost exclusively in Chinese or with little to no English translations. While seemingly trivial to some, it's no longer about menus but about access, cultural integration, and also social cohesion. So these two shops are brought up by the OP as an example, stating that not only does it disallow non-Chinese customers to patronize, restaurants with signboard in all Chinese will also affect non-Chinese delivery riders. Yep, so this is one of the restaurant that menus that the OP is talking about. If you are not,
you won't understand this.
Exactly. Even the picture is what flavors. Yeah. So this is one of the restaurants that he's also talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, for delivery riders.
The signboard.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know where to go. Yeah. So there are also comments, revolving this thread. So one of them is, as a Singaporean Chinese, I absolutely agree with you. So continue to speak out on this. That's the only way change will occur. So the staff should also be trained to be able to have at least some basic English language skills, expecting us to conform and stuff like that, even though they're working in Singapore. So then there is personally, I don't care. Their target customers base is not me, and I just don't patronize them. So some people agree that the points that the OP brought up, such as making non-Chinese, alienating non-Chinese, and also the fact that delivery riders will have hard time to find the restaurants. And then the last one is literally the CCP's playpen because of the amount of Chinese coming in, right? Setting up business and stuff like that. Yeah. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think? Should menus in Singapore be made mandatorily in English for the sake of inclusivity?
Oh, that's actually a good thought. Because initially, my thought was something like what the second guy said. I'm not gonna eat there anyway, it doesn't matter. You have your own target audience, you appeal to them. I have my own eateries that I go to, and there's a reason why I go to them also.
Yep.
But then when you think about it slightly broader, 5 people do this is fine. 50 people do this is fine. 500 people do this, now we have an issue.
Yep.
5,000 people do this, it becomes an issue already. Because it no longer allows a certain group of people to have the same experience as others.
So if places like, for example, Little India, Chinatown, the place itself has some historical value to it, right? And then the restaurants there are of certain way, fine. But these are places, Bugis. If you go to Liangxia Street, the whole street are filled with Chinese food. And some of the menus there are really, it's just basically for Chinese customers.
I don't know much about it being inclusive. I feel that companies should generally do it, right? Because it can help your sales. Yeah.
And also, right, I feel, you see, if you put just Chinese, right, then in Google, right, how? Like that. When people want to Google the place, you cannot type Chinese, right? I mean, some people really cannot type Chinese. Then how to find?
I think the issue, right, and why both of your ideas may not really matter to them is because firstly, on Google, they don't care.
Yep.
They don't play Google. See, you have your very good friend who runs a Chinese restaurant. What is his Google rating? 2 point something. Does it matter to him? It doesn't matter. He's still raking in the dough every month. And for yours, you say increasing sales, right? I think if anything, it might decrease sales if they try to be inclusive. Why? Because when a Chinese person goes there, like not Singaporean Chinese, like a Chinese person goes there, they feel like this is my place. You go to a place where they serve you an English menu, you feel like, alamak, it's not. So it might decrease sales.
Okay, then but my thought is, how do they know that their target audience? Okay, so their target audience is probably the Chinese, but they never try mixing together. So if let's say they mix together, right, it can actually pull wider, because let's say pancake, I assume this is not somewhere you buy and sit down to eat one. It's grab and go one. Imagine you're like Singaporean Chinese, you see, hey, this one the pancake so huge, wow, the sauce so huge. Then you think Chinese, I don't know how to order. I think you confirm.
I went to read. I
forget
cannot
it, right?
see. I cannot see
but he will still order.
common consensus, right, of netizens they have a lot of experience going to restaurants where they speak English to the waiter, but they don't understand what they're talking about at all. Yeah, and that goes for like my personal experience. I was cutting my hair. This Indian lady who frequented this salon, suddenly, because they changed barber, this barber don't know any English. Asked about the price and stuff like that. The barber didn't reply, just sit her down. After everything, the price is not what she expected. So she confronted him. He just replied in Chinese, and they just basically no way to communicate the misunderstanding. So just as I was there, I helped them to translate and stuff like that. Yeah, but
I
actually,
thought when you're talking about the hair, I thought that explains, but then
while they talking, arguing, then they cutting my hair.
What happened to your hair? Nothing.
So I want to ask you guys, right? Do you feel that it is okay for foreigners to not learn English or not speak like little to none English, but they come to Singapore to work?
Firstly, your example, right, I feel it's a bit unfair because you say it's a new stuff. Of course, their language is not that strong in English lah.
Okay, so the reason why I ask this is because basic English, conversational English. Because in order to work, you need to have some conversation.
Okay, I find the middle ground between both your points. So he is saying you must understand because it's a new stuff. Maybe there are some like compromises we can take into play. And you are saying that it should be such that some basic requirements are there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the common ground is this, and this is where both of you all probably will agree also. If the culture is set such that you need to learn English, even when you can compromise for a new stuff, right? He will know it is not okay to just sit customer and continue on. Because we need to know English. I don't know, never mind. I'll bring someone who knows English. So at least the understanding will be there then.
Because I feel that all those foreign workers, right, although their command of English is not the best, but over time they will learn it one.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. like just conversational English lah, like you mentioned.
Okay, so when I read this, right, I can't help but to think, right, do you think we Singaporeans are more sensitive when the majority appears to dominate shared spaces? Because I ask you guys, would the same conversation happen if it were a Tamil or Malay eatery using only native language signage?
They do what? What is nasi padang? Or nasi ayam? Chicken rice. Why they don't put chicken rice? They put nasi ayam. What? Kambing soup. The soup also not SOUP.
He's what?
SUP.
Yeah.
SUP, I think.
Yeah. Kambing
Okay. This is my criticism of that. At least the words are in English, you can read, correct? If now you put bakwa and you put bakwa in Mandarin, in Chinese, no, as in the words lah. One I can read, one I cannot read. At least the word that I read, I can understand what it means over time. Like nasi padang, nasi ayam, over time you will understand. But these words, Chinese word, you will never understand. Correct or not?
Because like papadum.
So you understand what? You read papadum, you understand. But the Tamil version,
papadum, you know.